on the subject of USDSIN, here are some more things for you to consider, as this is part 2 of the true history of the United States Defense Security Intelligence Network, contrary to misinformed media and public relations individuals. When I approached the Pentagon with the blueprint and charter for a hybrid fusion secret intelligence gathering organization, you have to consider the following. As outrageous as that may sound, you don't exactly know my background. I've actually worked for the US government in Washington, D.C. So, in the media, it sounds like one thing. But the truth is, even before that, I had worked for a special branch of law enforcement. And even before that, in 1993, I was offered a job working for the FBI in Seattle, Washington. That's 1993. That's the year that I graduated from high school. So fresh out of high school, I was offered a job working for the FBI. I turned down that job because I was interested in doing other things. My interest has always been in foreign intelligence gathering. So I weighed my options and I looked at what was available, and I realized that I would have been very, at the time, limited in what I was being told I would be able to do. And I can't go into the exact nature of what that was, but it involved weapons intelligence. So many moons later, I actually did end up working in weapons intelligence for the US government in Washington, D.C. I won't go into the exact nature of what I did, but I will tell you that it involved weapons intelligence. So, again, before in the media, it may have seemed strange and bizarre, as some said, but they didn't know me, they didn't know my background, and they didn't know my accolades. I have a 4.0 at the college university level in English. I'm an English honors scholar. I have a 4.0 in college English honors. Not college English honors. So I have been a college English honors student. And I've also been in electronics engineering with a 3.4 GPA. So these are other things that are part of my repertoire. And a lot of people didn't know that. I have also been in a cyber warfare program at the university level. I've also studied counter-espionage. I've also studied counterintelligence. And I have a 4.0 in counter-espionage at the university level. So I've worked in law enforcement. I've worked for a special branch of local law enforcement. I have worked at the U.S. government level. I won't tell you who I worked for in Washington, D.C., because when I was recruited and I signed on, there were a few people in the room, and as per the agreement that I signed with the U.S. federal government, no one but the people in that room and others in the U.S. intelligence community who have clearance know what I've done and who it is that I've worked for. If you've worked in intelligence, then perhaps you can find out if you have the proper clearance. If you don't have the proper clearance, then I'm not going to tell you who I work for because you don't have a need to know. The point is, my involvement in intelligence gathering goes back quite some time. Now, you need to think to yourself, why would I be offered a job fresh out of high school working for the FBI in Seattle, Washington? Why? Why me? Well, first of all, I was in the high IQ program as a youth. Secondly, I grew up on the West Coast, and I know a lot of things about a lot of different things that most people on planet Earth don't know. Secondly, I was a very athletic individual for all of my life. Thirdly, I'm involved in foreign intelligence collection. It's something that a lot of people don't even think about and they don't even know about. They have no idea what foreign intelligence collection involves or entails or has to do with. So that's the true background. And I know people who work in different areas, and they read some of my 4.0 college university dissertations on the subject of foreign intelligence gathering and new practices, new theories, new methodologies, new systems. I developed new systems of hybrid, covert, clandestine intelligence gathering. Methods, techniques, sources, and I put together a plan that most people didn't have. And this was before September 11, 2001. So I was involved in these types of concepts, these types of development projects, these types of operations, these types of things long before a lot of people in America decided to become patriotic and try to sign up for organizations such as the Department of Homeland Security. And what a lot of people don't know is that a lot of the systems that I designed prior to 9/11 were analyzed and evaluated by the U.S. intelligence community. And how do you know that some of the things that I designed while in my first years of college that were later subsequently examined by U.S. intelligence analysts, how do you know that my ideas and concepts haven't been incorporated into the larger intelligence community apparatus? I have, in fact, worked for the U.S. intelligence community. I can tell you that the people who I worked for in Washington, D.C., a couple of blocks from the White House, that's the U.S. intelligence community. They are, in fact, part of the U.S. intelligence community, and that's who my employer was. That's who they were. And when I signed on, when they brought me on and I did the work that I did for my country, they said, you do realize that we are now part of the U.S. intelligence community. So that gives people out there who know things a little bit more so than others a hint as to who it was who I worked for. But you know, I've never revealed openly, publicly, who I work for. I have never revealed sources per se. I've never revealed methods. I have never revealed human assets, handlers, people in the field. I've never mentioned their names. I assure you there are individuals listening to this, monitoring this information, and I will have you know, and they know as well, and everyone who has a need to know, I have never revealed any kind of information regarding or pertaining to any covert operations, clandestine operations, secret operations in law enforcement or in any areas of intelligence gathering of which I have been a part. I've never revealed any such information. It's always remained secret. I've never sold out America. I've never sold out anyone. And so now you have a better framework from which to understand that when I approached the Pentagon, I had a resume, and I had a background, and I had a repertoire, and I had individuals who knew of my capabilities. So it was no joke when I approached the Pentagon and said, look, we can do these things in a more cost-effective manner than you have been going about them. We're young, we're agile, and we see a need to streamline communications. We can circumvent these systems that you think are secure, and we can defeat these defenses that you paid billions of dollars to protect. And we can do it very inexpensively. So the Pentagon took seriously the information that I brought forth, that I submitted to them. Okay? Not everybody in public relations who answers the telephone knows what the Pentagon does. I'll give you another hint as to the types of involvement of our red team and our red cell. Most Americans, unbeknownst to most Americans, the Pentagon, DOD, does not have to reveal to Congress a secret operation that costs it, the DOD, the Department of Defense, the Pentagon, less than $50 million. Most Americans don't know that. If there is a secret, top secret, confidential operation, or just an operation in general, proposed by a private military company, the Pentagon does not have to, by law, reveal that information to U.S. Congress if the project is under $50 million. If the price tag is less than $50 million, you, the average American, don't necessarily hear about it. Congress, of all bodies and organs, agencies of government that govern America, Congress doesn't even necessarily know about it. So that's the second part of the true history of USDSIN.